What's going on, everyone? My name's AJ. Welcome to the Adoration podcast. Just wanted to introduce my special guest, Rod Timoteo Jr., founder and CEO of Mystérieux brand, Mystérieux Barbershop, which we're actually recording in today. I'm very thankful that Rod was gracious enough to allow us to use his space for this recording. He's the creative visionary of not only the barbershop, but also his clothing brand. Dog dad to Biggie the Frenchie, so that's definitely some things I would want to ask you about.
Yeah, definitely.
And one of the most driven, creative, passionate, and perseverant people in my life.
My dude, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, AJ, for hosting it here. Definitely excited, and also shout out to my fiance, Rocky.
Awesome. So my first question to you is, how did you want to become an entrepreneur?
To be honest, I know a lot of people, would say when asked that question, is, oh, well, I want to be my own boss. And for me, it was never like that. I think it was just more of I wanted kind of create something on my own just because I love creating. I love building from scratch. I didn't know I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Of course, growing up, parents were just be a doctor, get into medical, be a computer software engineer, things like that. And so I was raised to do those elements. Those are the occupation that was like, we need to do that. But for me, I think I just didn't want to do that. I think I just want to create something. I just didn't know what. I didn't know what that business was going to be. All I knew is I wanted to create something because I felt like I was always creative. Being left-handed, I think that also played a role maybe. I loved art. It just sucked because I was left-handed. And so I'd stop drawing because I'd smear everything. And so I just wanted to just create something from scratch.
Is there a moment in your life that you knew you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Growing up, I saw the importance of fashion. I felt I was always that mysterious kid, which since became the name Mystérieux. I used to borrow my friends' clothes, and I knew once I wore the cool clothes, and everyone started giving more props and being my friend. And so I think that's when I wanted to get into fashion, and I'll see how they dress, and I didn't have that. Growing up, I only had Factor 2 clothes and Payless shoes, and so I never had all the cool clothes. I just knew from the cool kids they're rocking all the cool brands that I wanted, and they couldn't afford it, and so I told myself I wanted to kill two birds with one stone, and that's when I said I want to have my own brand, do it for a living.
I definitely resonate with you. I'm a first-generation child from immigrant parents.
Yeah.
So I was actually born here, and I only had 2 pairs of shoes a year when I was growing up, all
definitely.
from Payless. So one was a pair of athletic shoes for PE class or just walking around.
Yeah.
The other shoe was a pair of formal shoes for weddings or more fancy events.
Exactly, with Dockers.
I don't even remember, to be honest.
Right?
And I actually went to fashion school, and I feel like we get along so well because we feel very misunderstood.
Yeah.
As far as our personal and professional life. And that's what I wanted to use this platform and podcast for, is to really express ourselves through this medium, through these conversations that we have, and hopefully not only hold each other accountable, but provide some sort of tidbit for other folks that want to continue to grow on their journey. So did you want to explain how you got into fashion? Do you have a lot of retail experience? I remember you told me you used to work at a lot of clothing stores.
A lot. I know my first retail store was definitely Gap.
Same here, actually.
No way.
Same here, yeah.
What location?
It was the Great Mall in Milpitas, California. It was a seasonal job. Shout out to my friend Justin. Hope all is well. And I got in trouble for taking a break when I wasn't supposed to.
Oh, man.
And then there was like one of the trainers,
Yeah.
like a corporate trainer who came into the store, and he came up to me saying, there's a higher conversion rate from shoppers that are walking by if you say hi to them. And I was a very introverted, 16-year-old kid, and I didn't know how to communicate, but I built that social muscle, and that's kind of my experience. But how was your experience?
Oh, man, at Gap or other stores?
You could walk us through the whole experience.
Yeah. Oh, man, Gap was an amazing experience. It was definitely one of those things where I didn't know what to expect, but it's definitely my first clothing store, and then that's the industry I was targeting. Fold board clothes.
Yes. Yeah.
Very important. Yeah, and just greeting everyone. It was definitely difficult. I remember this time where it was holidays, and I was doing the fitting rooms. Everyone hated the fitting room. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Now I know why. Like, you don't want to do that because you're stuck with piles of clothes, and all you're doing is fold boarding, and that's it. And it took. I think by the time we're done, we probably went home at 2:30 in the morning, and it was just still a pile of clothes, and I was like, man, this is what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of my life. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is exactly what I'll be doing. But I loved it. I love seeing closing the sale, or being able to pick the garments for the customers. It was a fun experience. Did that, and then ended up going to Metro Park. Metro Park was part of when I found even more love of streetwear. Crooks and Castles is definitely my favorite brands, and we sold that in our spot at that time. I think it was like Rock Republic jeans back then, the VSU jeans.
Yeah, nudies were in
Stussy was my favorite brand. We sold that, and it was more. That's when I was like, this is definitely want to get into streetwear, and that was a good experience. Got to understand different brands. Got to look them up and understand their journey, the history of it. Everyone working there was so fun. That we had a DJ at that time. I was like, this is cool. Have a DJ, and you're just, it doesn't even feel like work. You listen to cool music, and they're shopping. And then I started going to Kenneth Cole. Kenneth Cole was more high end, leather goods, a different type of clientele. It was great to see that. I wanted to learn so many different things. I didn't want to just learn streetwear, and then that one's more clientele. We had to dress up. That was a great experience. Went to Marc Ecko Cut and Sew after. I was working at Marc Ecko Cut and Sew, and also at the Apple Store. But Marc Ecko and Cut and Sew was cool. It was high end, but also had some type of street element. So it wasn't like Marc Ecko with the Rhino logo.
Yeah.
This is more Cut and Sew, but still on a medium price bracket where people can afford it. But it was cool because you could actually purchase paintings there that's hung on the wall. Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So it was understanding how they use their whole venue or their whole real estate, using that to sell random things like accessories, things like that. I thought that was unique. That's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
No worries.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then I ended up working at Burberry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really high end. We had to wear suits, and at that time I was killing sales. I think men's sales went up by a margin of 12%. Even when I got there. And then managing shoe palettes. That was the end of my retail experience.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. I mean, I worked so many places besides retail. DJ, working, corporate, semi-conducting, managing, marketing, all that. But those brands helped me a lot through my journey when creating this. Because I told people I got paid to learn. Because I knew I was going to do this for the rest of my life.
Thank you for sharing that, Rod. And that's why I have so much adoration and admiration for Rod as a hustler, as a creative, but also as a visionary. So would you say that the plethora of retail stores and experience that you have and just places you've worked at have molded or shaped your curation of your own business?
Yeah.
And the way you present things? Oh,
definitely. Every element and knowledge and experience I took from each company, I applied it to what I do here now. A lot of people probably don't understand the way I think sometimes, because in retail jobs, the first person that comes in has to be greeted. They has to be acknowledged. So I placed that amongst the guys working here at the shop. Everyone needs to be acknowledged, and I hate being not acknowledged at places. Customer service is super important to me. And that's why when people come in, I give that vibe, like, hey, how's it going? Would you like water? Would you guys like a beer? Who's your barber? Even though I'm working with another person, someone needs to be acknowledged, and it's always intimidating going to a place. It's the first time and not know what to do, where to sit, things like that. To even Apple. Apple taught me a lot about presentation and being well structured, very, very minimal. You see, back then, it just had they call it easy pay, and so they bring people up like that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It was innovative at the time.
Exactly. you know. And then when you purchase a phone, purchase a laptop, a specialist, you know, that you know, gets your laptop or your phone, they open it up for you, and like, you know, it's like unboxing.
It's almost like a white glove delivery for
Exactly.
Apple, like how they deliver furniture in your
Yeah.
home, but for an electronic and tech setting.
Exactly, like unboxing it for you, where it's like you're opening a present, you know.
And I wanted to bring up a lot of points that Rod brought about. First and foremost, when you go to a barbershop as a man, or just any barbershop or salon, no matter what gender or identification you are, I think it's a little bit intimidating at first. I'm
Yeah.
speaking from firsthand experience. Say you've never went to a barbershop in your entire life and you've only went to, let's say, like Supercuts or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's a unspoken sense of camaraderie and boy zone or man zone. And if you don't know anyone, it's pretty intimidating.
Yeah.
So just the fact that you say you already feel misunderstood, I resonate with. The
Yeah.
fact that when you go to somewhere and you want to feel acknowledged, I understand that. And I've never felt that in, honestly, a lot of aspects of my life, and that's why we connected so well. So I know we talked a lot about you being a visionary and a creative. Do you have any specific muses, inspirations, or things that really inspire you on a daily basis?
There's so many. To be honest, I'd say the number one thing that got me into really doing fashion is the owner of LRG back then, Jonas.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. He made Asians cool, you know? Because I was small, little Asian, bowl cuts. I was always bullied and made fun of. And so when I saw Jonas and he's rocking chains, he's with the hip hop artists, I was like, man, I want to be like him for sure. So I wanted to even pursue fashion even more and be, you know, kind of one of the cool guys.
Being an Asian, a millennial Asian man, I definitely feel that you don't necessarily fake it till you make it, but in a culture where we are extremely Asian and extremely Filipino American,
Yeah.
sometimes we don't feel cool enough. And I could relate in not necessarily being bullied, but being made fun of, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
For what I was wearing. I remember I was wearing skinny jeans and pink shoelaces, and someone actually called me a derogatory term.
Yeah.
And I never really had that affect me. I just always thought about it and understood that some people are going to be insensitive, but that shouldn't change the way you look at other people and you treat people. Everyone has their own preferences in fashion and whatever they do in life, and wear it with confidence, move and act with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say you get inspired by your family, your dog? I know that in your Instagram bio it says father of Biggie the Frenchie.
Oh, yeah.
So how does your fiance or your dog inspire you?
They teach me a lot about discipline. You know, Biggie, I love him to death, and I'm busy. I'm cutting hair and I'm grinding, you know, 10 plus hours a day at times. And I come home and it's like, Biggie's like, dude, I gotta walk him. You know, like I gotta walk him. I gotta somehow find the energy to even get up and walk him. You know, it's like, it has to be a balance. I love doing what I'm doing, but also I had to go back home and give them that love as well, you know? And so I gotta give them that attention, how they're doing. He gets excited. He gets excited when he sees me. And I love that. It brings me so much joy. I remember there's a YouTube video I was watching, and Kobe said, which is another big inspiration of mine, his Mamba mentality also became what influenced me to create Hustle Harder. You know, that was my mom mentality in Mystérieux, you know. And he said that there's times he was tired, you know, he's at the gym all the time, and he goes home and he has to go home to his kids. He's hurt, he's aching. But then it's like, when you're on the court, when I'm here, my focus on the brand and the shop and understanding every element, how everything's moving. It's super important to me. I'm in that zone, especially locked in with my clients. But then when I'm at home, it's just, I gotta like switch that off and think about, all right, now I gotta go and give my dog and my fiance some attention.
I think a lot of it is energy, presence, and relentless intention. Whether you know it or not, we have to plan our days and really be effective, but also efficient in those days, because if we don't, then we're missing out and sacrificing on our personal life, but also our professional life. Your dog and your fiance will understand if you have to get something done, but at the same time will miss you.
Yeah.
And you're sacrificing that time.
It's a tough balance. It's definitely a tough balance. Like it's like you need to have that work-life balance. Like I don't think that even exists.
I don't think so too, especially in your role as an entrepreneur. And Rod and I were talking about this earlier, even before recording. I quote a lot of Zen the F Out by Big Sean. He has a bar that says, you're either in or you're out. You either sure or you doubt. And that really guides me when I work out or if I do things personally and professionally. At the end of the day, if you're tired, you're still doing something right.
Yeah.
It's better to be tired than relaxed and complacent, in my opinion. I think there's times to relax, but in the position that you're in and the goals that you want to fulfill in all aspects of life, we really need to sacrifice our time to be present with those that we really care about and those projects that we ultimately want to fulfill.
When people say like you need to have that work-life balance, or even hey, you deserve vacation, it's like I get it, you know. I probably do, but I don't feel like there's so much more to accomplish. Yeah, like I want to experience the world. I want to, you know, definitely want to have those vacation, explore, see, you know, what everyone's doing. But I love what I do. Like I love, like, even though I'm stressed out, but this is my purpose. This is exactly what I wanted to do. And at the same time, when I go home, it's like my fiance is happy, my dog's happy. It's like that still gives me happiness. It's like, yeah, I may not experience the world like everyone else, but at the end of the day, it's like I know eventually I'll do that. But that's not even my main concern. My main concern is just how do I figure out how to become this shop to what I envision. I don't feel like I miss much on a lot of things. Like everyone says, oh, you deserve that, you deserve this. Like I do, but I haven't accomplished what my initial goal.
So when other people say you deserve a vacation, I definitely believe in that. I understand what you mean by saying, I feel like I deserve it, but I still want to fulfill my goals. When we say that we deserve something, it comes from an inherent place of privilege, and everyone fights their own battles. So you may think that you don't deserve a vacation when others are like, you're doing such a great job, but the job's not finished. Quote from Kobe, one of your muses. And I kind of share that same mentality, and that's why I wanted to have you on the podcast. I have so much adoration for the fact that you have so much fulfillment in your personal life and professional life. A lot of how we get along and relate is the fact that we feel very misunderstood in a lot of aspects of our lives. What is your definition of self-belief and betting on yourself?
Man, I think, to be honest, it's just believing that you can overcome every type of obstacle. And a lot of people didn't believe I'd take it this far. I knew I was going to take it this far. My parents didn't think I was going to take it this far. Till this day, my mom will share the story. There's a story where I was taking the clothes, the apparel to a booth expo. I was, you know, packing things up, and then, you know, me and my mom were beefing, and she was like, I don't know why you keep doing this. You're not making money. And I was like, you know what? I love this, and I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life, whether you guys like it or not. And then till this day, you know, she didn't get it. And then when she sees this shop and what I built, she was just like, she'd cry. She was like, dude, it makes me teary, you know? Because it's one of those things, like, at that moment, she actually now believes what I created, you know? But before then, no one believed me. Friends thought it was just a hobby. Even when I transitioned to becoming a barber, because it was just fashion, it was just clothes. Then I started transitioning to, like, you know, cutting hair.
And was it a different brand at first?
No, it was still Mystérieux. Well, I had Rockstar and Dude at that time, yeah, correct. But when I had Mystérieux, and this was solely just me, you know, Rockstar and Dude, I had like different business partners and all that, and it was still under my name, ROD. That one kind of got dissolved, but now I have full rights of my own, you know, Rockstar and Duty. But at the end of the day, it was, when I created Mystérieux, it was solely me. I wanted, you know, more streetwear, all that, but also I wanted to kind of have some type of fitness element, and then became a barber, you know. And the reason why I became a barber, because people would always ask, like, how long you been cutting for? I was like, to be honest, I've only been cutting hair for like 5 years. You know, I was never a garage barber, you know. And so even going way back to the conversation that we had, it's like, you know, when you know, because I used to get haircuts at Asian spots, you know, where to do it real quick, you know, high fade usually, and that's it, you know. I never went to a true barbershop.
Yep.
And so when I finally went to a barbershop, it was intimidating. Yes. And I said, you know, I actually went to Legends at that time, with J Finger. That was my barber, and I was like, make me look good, 'cause I didn't know. I didn't know, to be honest, I didn't know what a taper was before I started cutting hair. I didn't know I didn't know like what's a high fade, a mid fade, all that. I literally knew nothing about hair. There's so much traffic while getting hair, and so I eventually want to have a barbershop boutique.
Gotcha. So you eventually learned how to cut hair because you wanted to turn your business into a barbershop / boutique.
Exactly. But no one wanted to join Mystérieux because I knew nothing about hair. I was just designing clothes. And so when I finally found barbers, I ended up going to barber school because I felt that in order for me to recruit barbers and also understand barbers' journey and become a better shop owner, I had to understand what they went through. So I ended up going to barber school while becoming a barbershop owner. And I was doing, fitness shows. So I didn't work at another shop. So imagine my train of thoughts, especially even like how I run things, is like I was never a true barber. I didn't own a barbershop before. I never worked at a barbershop. Right now, I'm still the chess player and also the chess piece on the chessboard. And I'm still learning as I go, but then also develop a passion of cutting hair. Even going back, it's like, so when people get intimidated going to shops, barbershop, I keep a mental note of my emotion, so when I felt intimidated, when someone has asked me, that sits on my chair today, and they ask me, make me look good. It's like, what? My interaction with them is like, let me educate you. Is because they don't know what to like. They don't know what a taper is. They don't know what a fade is. And so I'll give them, hey, this is what we're doing today. And I'll go play by play. Because I don't want anyone to feel intimidated, like how I felt. And I apply that to all my experience that goes through the shop. And I help out my clientele as best as I can.
I think that's a testament to your passion for your clients, your empathy for your staff. Not a lot of folks in your position would want to go through the mud and learn how to become a barber. They'd probably just become a landlord, and we'll get into that in the barber
there's
side
there's
things.
so many, bro. There's so many.
But it's a true testament to you having that self-belief in yourself. Your confidence is radiant. Your family, your friends believe in you as much as you believe in yourself. And I personally get a lot of inspiration from that. Because currently, this is the most confident I've ever been, probably in my entire life. And it's a long time coming. And just getting to know you and meeting you the past few years has really helped me bet on myself.
Yeah, and going back to that question, sorry, like,
no worries.
it goes. There's so many layers to it, and that's why I get so passionate, and I get so. There's so many ways to tell my story because there's so many layers to it, but like you have to believe in yourself, and the definition of self-belief is really overcoming every obstacle, and you have to be your own cheerleader. When at times that people don't see that, all it takes is one small person. And grow from that. My fiance believed in me, and it grew to like some certain friends, to like then became like people like you that seen something. It starts with you within.
I agree.
And when you believe in yourself, then you start having pillars of people that you surround with that creates that foundation to give you that belief. Because if I didn't have that belief, I'd probably be lost. Even though I believe in myself, I need that foundation. I need someone to tell me, hey, like, like I truly believe in you. And that inspires me.
They say that a percentage of who you surround yourself with is ultimately who you are. And that's a conflict if you don't believe in yourself. Mm-hmm. So a lot of what you said is just living your life true to self, authentically.
There's a quote that Jay-Z said. And so someone asked, like, how do you feel about people that went to like, colleges like Yale, Stanford, things like that? You sit in a boardroom full of them. How do you feel about that? And he's like, well, they read a lot of books, but I live a lot of life. It's like my experience goes within. Like so I have so much to talk about because there's so many. It's what shaped me too.
Street smart versus book smart.
Exactly. I wish I had the book smart. But at the same time, I'm also happy I was able to experience everything I've gone through. And that's what shaped me. And that's why it allowed me to develop a different mindset.
I think it's easy to have a victim mentality and be so discouraged when you have great intentions for everything that you do in life. But if we move in life with that, it takes up too much of our energy, and we don't have a glass half full mentality. It's more of a glass half empty mentality that I say in a lot of my podcasts. But I truly believe in that. I think it's important to be true to yourself and try your best to live intentionally and authentically. I wanted to ask you that question.
Yeah.
At this current moment in your life, do you think that you're living your truest form of self?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. I'll never fake it till I make it. I'll face it till I make it, and that's always been one of the main things like I stand by as well. But also comes with, there's some downfalls with that because kind of like Tupac, just the realist West Side. The realist,
Outspoken, would you say?
very outspoken. It's not like they're misjudged.
Their actions and intentions are probably misinterpreted.
Exactly, and that's for me. Like I have great intentions. It's just sometimes like I say things out loud because I have no fear. You want to be in my circle. You want to be part of this. Like I'm always going to be truthful, but at the same time, I have great intentions.
And I think it takes one person to say something negative that will really affect you and hinder your performance and your goals and your intention in what you want to do.
Definitely. It hits me hard, at times.
I could relate in being misjudged. I've been told in the past that I look intimidating based on the way I dress or the way I act or my mannerisms in public. But when people get to know me, they're like, oh, I thought you were intimidating or stuck up. But getting to know you, you're actually pretty down to earth and cool.
Oh, yeah,
Which
definitely.
I personally don't think that way. I don't try to spend too much energy thinking what other people think about me. But it's interesting to understand other people's thoughts, but not letting that cloud your judgment about yourself and the reality versus someone's perception and fantasy.
You know what's funny? It's crazy. Is I remember when I first talked to you. Because I'm nice. I say what's up to all my clients, my barber's clients. I'm such a like.
I mean, you're the face of Mystérieux.
Yeah.
So.
I make sure everyone's having great vibes here at the shop. And there's one time I think Ryan's your barber, and then he hasn't came yet. You came early, and I was actually not with a client. We ended up chopping it up. I started telling my story in this fashion, and then we started talking. And then the first thing I thought of myself like, this guy's very well spoken. I love like the way you carry yourself, the way you talk about fashion, things like that. It was like, man, I wish I could talk like AJ.
No, you're too
AJ
kind.
is so good at talking. It was so crazy, and he has good fashion sense. Fashion like how I see it, and so it was cool. And it became full circle, and that's why I always tell people, like, especially with Mystérieux, it's like you never ever want to count people out. You always want to kind of be able to talk to as many people, understand their journey, vibe with them, and just be cool with everyone. Because at the end of the day, you just never know. Like all of a sudden now we're doing a podcast together.
Yeah.
There's a person, he's like, like a janitor that walks by here. Like I say hi to everyone, even to like the janitors that pass by here. Not a janitor, but he like does things for other shops, other companies here, takes out the trash. And I smile, wave, they wave back. And then one time they said like, every time you wave at me, like I appreciate that, because no one, sometimes they don't see him. They're like, oh, he's just taking the trash out. It's like, like why should we do that?
It's easy to feel unseen.
Yeah.
And how you treat someone that offers you little to nothing at all is a true show of your character, inherently, in my opinion.
I like to do things from the heart,
I never try to force a connection. Like this connection with Rod, we literally have nothing to gain from one another.
Yeah.
I just consider him a good friend, and I get inspired from what he does for this business, whether it's fashion or in the barber game. Mm-hmm. My goal is just to make people feel so comfortable in a conversation and feel like I'm present. Because I always say this, some people listen to act like they're listening, some people listen to respond. I try to listen to understand. And this moment in time when we have a one-on-one podcast, I try to replicate in all my interactions in real life. But I do understand if there's a group scenario, you kind of have to turn it on a little bit.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily a chameleon, but you got to be a human being that socializes with folks.
Yeah,
and that's why Rod and I are on this pod, and it's a testament to just being true to self, organic, and like we said, never forcing any connection conversation or communication, if I'm chopping it up with someone and I notice that I don't really vibe with them, I'll leave it be and keep it surface level. But with Rod, we had a lot of similar interests, and I get inspired by a lot of what he does. And I just wanted to showcase his mindset, his ability, and his entrepreneurship and passion and desire to win with my community. So you said that you found your purpose, and I think that that's probably the hardest thing to ever find for someone in their individualized life. For me, I got very lucky. I knew I wanted to go into fashion, and it's led me to many, many different paths in my career. The next topic I wanted to talk about is focus. What is your current focus and mission in relation to your purpose?
I mean, it goes back to like Kobe. I want to be the best. I want to be the best at what I do on every aspect of it, where it's like hair, fashion. I'm also hard on myself when I don't achieve those goals right away. But I know things, it takes time, you know? And so the mission, of course, is to be the best. And then as you go through different obstacles and situations in life, the mission is always for me is like, I know where it's gonna be at. This is where it's at. I see it, I believe it. Because even before I got the shop, I already seen this. It's just trying to figure out how to get there faster. And so I gotta figure out how to get there faster. And if it's not fast enough, it's okay. But of course, I'm hard on myself because I need to figure that out. And so I do try to figure out ways on how to achieve it faster, and that's my mission. As a collective, it's just, before I thought I knew, but to be honest, like things started changing, and so it got tough. The mission for me is just, I gotta restructure a lot of things and take all these time to evolve and develop as we go through different phases of the current situation I'm at.
I think it's important to move intentionally, have that structured timeline, but don't force or rush any goals or fulfillment that's not meant to be yet.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you stay focused on your mission while dealing with the opinions of others?
I mean, you get in a rut many times, and then you hear different opinions from other people, and it hurts. And it also it messes with your mind, messes with your whole energy. You have to find it within you to get out of that stage and kind of say, acknowledge it. First of all, acknowledge that you're in a rut. Take a deep breath. Find another element that's gonna take the energy off. Because I hear a lot of things, and I hear what people say, and especially what I go through in life. I wake up at 5 a.m., 6 in the morning for the gym, even at times I don't want to, but that's like my alone time. And so my routine is like I have to wake up that early just to kind of put on something positive, and it feeds my mind, and it like hypes me up, and that goes, everything else just goes away, because it's every day is a brand new slate. Those opinions, one day you hear it, a message with you, and then you gotta like crawl out of it and be like, you know what, find something that's gonna like bring more positivity to your mind, and then you're good.
All we want is peace, and Rod's workout routine at 5 a.m. helped inspire me when I started working out for 2 months in a row straight. I'm on,
Hell yeah.
I don't know how long, days in a row straight.
I love that.
But when he was saying that he works out and that's his me time, it really helped me focus on self-discipline and a practice of willpower and habit building. And I adopted that same belief in taking things day by day. If you keep thinking that, oh, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, I'm stressed out about the future, and not moving on from the past, you're not really being present, and you don't have peace in your thoughts. And those vibes translate to what you're doing every single day in your actions, in your speech, and just the energy you give off, I feel. You wear a lot of your feelings on your sleeve and your heart on your sleeve, and I really commend you for that, and I look up to that. I try to be a lot more vulnerable.
It's crazy is a lot of people, because you never know who you're inspiring, And so at first, there's always that little whisper in your head when you're doing that, you're posting it. And I have to continue telling myself this too. When I do this, I was like, oh, I feel like people think I'm flexing. I'm like, oh, look at Rod, he's posting. He's like, waking up early and all this. It's like, that's in your head. It's like that dark thoughts in your head that's telling you, oh, like people probably think I'm like just flexing. And then there's people like, you know, when I'll go out and there's like random people like, yo, Rod, like I see your story, and like when it's 5, 6 a.m. you're up in the gym, like it inspires me. I get up for the gym because you're up there. And I have to continue telling myself this, and it gets hard at times, but I have to continue telling myself is I use my social media platform as my own way of, I'm my own cheerleader. So it hypes me up. I gotta do this for me. Like it doesn't with everyone's opinion. I'm doing it for me. But at the same time, you never know who you're inspiring on the other end. You know, and so it doesn't matter. You know, the people that, you know, that judge you, do you want them in your circle? Do you want that energy and like, oh, this is for you? It's like, no, they're not for them. And it's okay. But the people that you're inspiring, but foremost, it has to be for you. And everyone that you're inspiring, you know, that's like another way. It's like, yo, like you never know who you're inspiring.
And I love that. Continue to express yourself through your social media platforms and through your business, and really expressing yourself how you dress too. I think that inherently the barber industry is very, very competitive. And the main word that I think about from what you just said is reciprocation. Reciprocation of support, but also reciprocation in competitiveness. So how do you balance reciprocating support, but also competitiveness in an inherently cutthroat industry like barbering?
Look at yourself and know, like, and ask yourself, are you doing everything you can?
And that goes back to us saying, are you living life authentically and true to yourself? And if not, be honest about the actions you need to take rather than pondering about what happened and what you didn't do right.
And definitely hold yourself accountable. You know, if you don't hold yourself accountable, I see why I'm not the best at the moment right now. And there's ways I gotta figure that out, you know? And so I look at all my competitions, and I'm a very competitive person, like very competitive. Yeah. You know, I play basketball, play varsity, and so I see everyone that I'm competing against, and I need to step it up.
I think it's important to have that accountability for yourself too, because if you're never accountable for yourself, how does it show to others? You're never gonna hold yourself accountable when you're working with others and collaborating, and you're always gonna project some sort of mistake or even insecurity on your coworkers, your peers, and even your loved ones. And that relates to your personal life or your professional life. I always try to relate everything that we talk about to both aspects, because those mean a lot to me in our lives. Like, we could always chop it up if we want to talk about fashion, barbering, entrepreneurship, and business, but ultimately we collect on a man-to-man level, a personal level. We just want to chop it up about sports, fashion, and everything we like. We never talk about like, oh yeah, like we need to get this project done and focus on that. It's really just whenever that happens, it'll happen. If not, we could just connect as human beings.
I think you should always have that competitive spirit. I think there's that one competitor, or this one guy, Simon.
Is it Simon Sinek?
There you go. I was watching a video, and he said that the reason why there's a person that he, you know, his competition that he hated a lot, you know, and the only reason he hated that person is because he knew like he's better than what he can do.
Oof.
You know, and so for me, it's like these guys are better than me. During my competition, I'm like, man, these guys like they're so good at what they're doing. It's only because I'm not good at that yet.
Yes.
And so I need that. I need that as fuel, where it's gonna like be like, you know, I'm not gonna say, oh, dude, I'm never gonna look at my competition, downplay and say they're not good enough, they suck, they're whack. I want to look at that and be like, they're so good at cutting hair better than me. It's like, I need to focus on my weaknesses now to turn to strengths.
Yes, you have to give credit where credit's due and use that as fuel for your own personal motivation.
Exactly. You know, and so I look at my competition. I want to compete with you guys, because it's like basketball. You know, there's the Western Conference, there's the Eastern Conference. You know, going to the finals. And so for me, it's like, do I want to be a shot and just do it for the money? It's like, no, I want to compete with the best.
Yep.
And if I'm not competing with the best, then I'm not relevant. And so it's not about the money for me. It's really about, I want to compete against the best, and I want to figure out how to get there. and give me the respect too.
It's really important that you said that because it shows your true intention in the barber game. It shows that you're willing to learn, and the fact that you're not there yet shows that the journey is possible. It's not just like, well, they're in the conference finals or the finals all this year.
Mm-hmm. That should eat you alive.
Yes.
Like Kobe, when he lost to the Celtics. He has that newspaper. He reads the article like, why do you still have that?
Yeah.
His job's not done. He needs to get that revenge, you know? And that's my competitive spirit. It's not to downplay the people that's better than me. I respect them all. But it's like, it's my way, like, I want to be there. I want to compete with you guys. And I want to get the respect needed to know, like, I'm coming after you guys.
The respect is definitely needed and always acknowledged, but you need to move with grace. You need to move with that confidence, and you need to move with that self-belief. So if people think of you in a certain light, it's because they don't understand you and you feel so misunderstood. You're just trying to express yourself.
Exactly.
And I wanted to use this platform for you to really get that passion through. And I think that a lot of it has shown through just sitting next to you and hearing you and understanding you and feeling that energy.
You can feel that energy. It's like, you know, I love it. Like, I need that. You know, I need that because if I don't have that,
what's the point? What's the point of doing it?
Exactly.
Love it.
You know, I'd probably just be cutting hair and just, you know, collecting rent, things like that. But I don't want that.
Or you probably would have taken a different path.
A different route. You know, got a cheaper spot. Everything would have been different. But for me, it just, I'm coming after everyone.
Rod is an example of going all in, and I've always looked up to and admired him in that, right? Everything he's ever done, whether it's retail jobs, corporate jobs, and everything else, us having this conversation now is a true testament of the physical space, the physical business, and all the goals he has to be competitive and to gain that respect he already has or wants to gain for the future.
I'm not there yet, to be honest, and I'm still working on it, but also keep in mind there's a reason why the turtle beat the hare.
Yeah.
You know, so we're playing the longevity game, you know, and at the end of the day, there's so many great artists, so many great people out here in the Bay Area and San Jose. It's great for our community. And I want everyone to develop that competitional spirit, but at the same time also respect everyone that's, you know, done it before me. Because I've only been doing it for 5 years. There's people that's been doing it for 10 plus years. Like, they're on chapter 20 and they're there because they've been doing it for the longest. And I'm only on chapter 5. So I had to, like, also take back and understand, like, there's a reason why the journey takes longer. It's like you're playing the longevity game. You got to acknowledge that.
And you definitely have to trust the process.
Exactly.
What you just told me right now shows that you're moving with grace. You're acknowledging competition, but also trying to get more competent, because a lot of people are ruthless in their competition, but also are at the top of their games, very, very competent. And you're acknowledging your weaknesses and trying to get better. So I respect you for that. And I hope that everyone else sees that through the content you make, through the successes of the future, and all the intentions that you have moving forward. So the next activity is the mindful affirmations cards that I always ask my guests to pick. We're gonna have Rod pick one, and we'll just take a quick discussion on it. So I'm gonna let you do your thing. Please pick a card, and we'll discuss our thoughts on it.
I attract people who help me on my journey.
Wow, what a
right?
What a quote.
Right?
This is not scripted.
I know,
that.
literally, that's crazy. I love that. Wow.
I attract people who help me on my journey. Crazy.
Yeah, because it really does.
Yes, and this podcast is a testament to this affirmation that Rod and I are actually discussing. So I don't even think we need to talk about it that much. Everything in this pod is literally a testament to this affirmation.
Yeah.
But no, I just want to reinforce the fact that I look up to you as an entrepreneur, as a man. I wish I could be as much as an entrepreneur or even relationship man, dog father in my life that you are currently. So thank you so much for hosting us, man. Appreciate you.
That's crazy. That's so crazy.
So I just had a few more questions before we go. What is your current definition of success?
I already know. It's happiness. That's definitely the true definition of success. Everything that you do, well, for me, it's work through happiness. This brings me a lot of joy. I love being in a situation that I'm at because success, other people may think, oh, well, money, but that's not for me. My definition really, like, your definition of success should be through your happiness.
Obviously, money matters, but I think happiness and joy are relevant for what you define it as. Hopefully they can't hear it in the back. We're recording this on Cinco de Mayo weekend, and there's a lot of folks partying outside. Rod's shop is right in back of San Pedro Square in San Jose, California. Super dope shop, by the way. If you ever get a chance to, feel free to visit him. We'll put some B-roll of the whole shop and the whole aesthetic. Probably one of the best setups in the Adoration podcast, to be honest. So once again, super grateful and thankful for you and letting us host this podcast here.
Man, it's been great. It's been great.
I had another question, and that question was, if you had to give a lesson to your former self, what would it be? Or some advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I wish I'd done it. Of course, I wish I'd done everything sooner. But what I would tell myself is never let any struggle allow you to give up. You just got to keep going through it all. Just keep going. That's it.
I think it's easier said than done. A lot of us go through traumas that truly define us and make us who we are, but it's easier to just linger on it than actually get past it. And I personally am vulnerable enough to say that I've been through a lot of therapy for my own self-healing journeys. And something that I would say to my younger self is be kind to yourself and have empathy and try to be present. And I feel that I'm showing up for others through this podcast, through my self-confidence, through my interactions in real life with those that I love and truly care about, with my friends, my family, even my coworkers and peers. And if you could pick one motto, lesson, or quote that you would like to resonate with folks, what would it be?
Oh man, this is only one quote I stand by. It's work like others won't so you can live like others can't. Because no one wants to put in the work. Not a lot of people want to do that. Life is getting harder, you know, but you gotta put in the work no matter what. And if you put in the work, you put in time and keep going, opportunities eventually starts coming. You just gotta, keep going and build off that.
I'm an advocate of what you put in is what you get in out of all things in life. And Rod is a true testament to that with his self-will, his determination, his belief in himself, his confidence, and his execution in all things creative, professional, and even personal with his dog and his fiance. And I just get inspired by him, and I'm so glad that we were able to have this conversation and just chop it up about these things. Is there anything else that you want to talk to the people about?
I mean, definitely follow us on Instagram, Mystérieux.brand. And also Mystérieux.dtsj. Our website is www.mystérieuxbrand.com. And find us on our location, 28 North Almaden Avenue, Suite 30, San Jose, California, 95110. I had to. But at the end of the day, it's like, it was great to, haven't done a podcast with someone for a while. It's a great way to break the ice, especially with someone that very well spoken. And I'm truly blessed to have met you. You never know who comes into your life and makes a difference into your life. And so, appreciate those moments. Appreciate the journey. Just live it, live life to the fullest. And I look forward to watching on YouTube. And, and also, my biggest advice to you would be, is continue this, continue doing what you're doing. I love it. I love what you're all about, the mindset. I see your story and what you post on social media. And like I said, just everything that you're doing intentional for yourself. And with that, inspires other people. And everyone's opinions that's negative shouldn't even matter. And the people that you inspire are the ones you build off with. And so I just want to say it's been a blessing and honor. My boy, AJ, thank you.
This is Rod Timoteo Jr. I just wanted to thank you so much for all the kind words. The adoration is reciprocated, and that's why we wanted to have you on the podcast. It's all about feeling understood rather than misunderstood in your personal life and professional life. And I truly feel like I have a community one-on-one, and through the folks that are listening, watching, and consuming all the content that I make, whether it's humorous or more serious like this. Appreciate you, bro. That was fun, man. That was a good one.
Yeah.
And usually I just like keep the mics running and keep it going.
Yeah.
Because I just like to chop it up.
Oh, hell yeah.
And, you know, like, I know that there's a lot of cameras and lighting, but this is like the truest form of a one-on-one conversation I could have with people and truly connect with them. And I will continue to keep going. I will create this content and use it to express myself, and obviously understand that when push comes to shove, sometimes YouTube and your creative passions becomes a business. But you're a true testament to that, man. Like,
Thank
you
you.
expressing yourself may come off to others as really pompous or cocky, but you're just confident and you have that self-belief, and your family and your friends believe in that, and you also should continue to do that. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man.
So
it was great. It was great to, I think it was just to break the ice and chop it up, and I wasn't nervous at all. At first I thought I'd be nervous, cause you know, but then it was just like talk to my boy.
Yeah, man. Like right now it's just chill. Like
Yeah.
I feel so uplifted from our conversations. I
Yeah.
feel so grateful and grounded and not alone. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm included in something. You don't have to be intimidated going through life when it's
True.
inherently sad, dark, or lonely.
Yeah.
When we have constructive conversations and thoughtful and intentional conversations like this, where we could move and practice our good habits, practice that self-discipline, practice that willpower on every aspect of our personal and professional lives. So
I love it.
appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Well, we got the Cinco de Mayo music playing in the back. We're probably gonna end it now,
was
but
crazy.
that was super dope, man. Appreciate you, bro.
It was great.
Thank you. This is Rod to Mateo Jr. My name is AJ. This is the Adoration Podcast. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace. Camera.
Yeah, we should. Hold on. We'll walk through this one.
I love this. Let's go.
Shout out to Rod. This is one of his hoodies for his, what is it, 1 year, 2 year anniversary?
1 year anniversary.
1 year anniversary hoodie. We got the same fit on, essentially.
Let's go. Let's go.
Nice.
I love it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Thank you, man.